Good afternoon, everyone. Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we are getting you.
Yes. So it's great having you all. So my name is Frances Okeke. I'm the Executive Director of SCAAD Initiative. I'll be facilitating the session in partnership with my colleague, Rachel. Rachel, kindly introduce yourself as well.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rachel, and I'm the Project Volunteer Officer for SCAAD Initiative UK.
Okay, thank you. So since we are just small, it would be nice for everyone to introduce themselves as well. And as you're introducing yourself, you can kindly tell us how your day is going. You can, if it's interesting, if it's chaotic. For mine, it's been going smoothly. Yeah, that's for now. So I'll be okay. How about I select Tata? Kindly let us introduce yourself and also let us know how your day is going as well.
All right, thank you. I'm called Tata Jude Nyuylem. Presently, I'm in Cameroon. For now, I'm a reference farmer. So according to the program within, you people will learn more about myself from my biography.
Okay.
Yes, so for the day, it started somehow not that encouraging. I lost one of my small best friend, just a teenage, around 6 years, just died this morning.
Wow.
I'd love
for that.
May
That's
Hasu rest
a
in
sad
peace.
one. Amen. Amen. That's a sad one.
Well, thank you so much, but we still have to move forward and see how we can really better up our tomorrow.
Very true.
All right, thank you.
Okay. How about Mubarak? Hello, Mubarak. Kindly introduce yourself and let us know how your day is going as well. Mubarak is out. Okay, Enoch.
Hello, everyone. My name is Enoch Nyuylem. And well, my day is going on fine, smoothly. Thank God for that. And it's really nice to be here on this platform.
Great to have you here. Also to note, Enoch was one of our facilitators in just when we had our training for young farmers. So we're glad to have you here as well. Jarifaka, kindly introduce yourself as well.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Derifaka. Sorry, I don't know the pattern of introduction. I was not clean.
No, you can just introduce yourself and let us know how your day is going.
Okay. My name is Derifaka, and I'm based here in Abuja. And it's Monday, so my day has been hectic. I'm trying to resolve. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you.
Welcome. Mubarak, you're up next. Okay, said hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mubarak Usman Ibrahim, the project manager for Just Chapter. Oh, great. I think I saw Fafa. I don't know if he's off or he came on board before. Yes. Hello, Fafa. Kindly introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Farida Usie. Pleased to be here. I'm currently studying in Jos.
Great to have you. Godfrey, you're next.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jeffrey Nomeopuchu. I'm residing in Abuja and happy to be here.
Yeah, how's the day going?
I did night duty yesterday, so I'm at home now.
Great, resting. So welcome everyone once again to our first training section. Our resource person is here in the person of Tata Jude. So I'll be briefly introducing him and sharing before he comes on board. So Tata Jude Nyuylem is a Cameroonian with BSc in Physical Geography plus a national diploma in climate change and agriculture, food security and safety. He has volunteered as a resource person for NGOs as an agricultural technician and also agroforestry consultant. He's a reference farmer in his community and help train farmers on how to grow healthy crops, fight pests and also fight food insecurity. He was the 2022 best crop producer. You can imagine that. And also a publisher at the International Journal for Research. So he's not a small person, and we are glad to have you, Mr. Tata Jude. Kindly take the floor, and also the floor is yours now. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam, for the opportunity. All right. I would not like to take much of your time, but why though we are still waiting for other people to join? Normally, agriculture is very vast. It's a very big field. And if we are referring to agriculture, we really need to know that agriculture is just about yesterday, today, and as well tomorrow. So it's simple that agriculture is one of the best professions, which no one can ever go on retirement, because I believe that each and every day, everyone eats. We get up, we try to do one or two things, but at the end of the day, we must eat. So diving much into agriculture, I would like first to give a brief of what I'm going to be talking about today. And most especially, I will start with the introduction of agriculture. Secondly, I would like to refine each and every one purpose as an agriculturalist, because I believe now, as we are here now, we are people who have so much passion with agriculture. And then I would like to talk more about the types of agriculture, then the basic farm concepts. And before a closing remark, I would like to talk more about choosing what to grow. All right, before I can kickstart, I would like to say that agriculture normally refers to the cultivation of crops, rearing of animals and birds with management for natural resources for local consumption or commercial purposes. That means as we are here, there are a lot of people inside the group and those that are still going to be joining that are engaging on agriculture just only because they want to have some of their end means, or simply because they love agriculture and they want to produce their own food. That is good. There are a lot of people who just want to be into agriculture just because they want to sell. Yes, that is still good. And then management of natural resources, one of which is being the soil that we use for crop production. If we don't manage the soil very well, and tomorrow the soil are being depleted, then logically we will not even have the crops. And that's why I'm one of the highest advocate for food security and food safety. So that notwithstanding, so the most important thing that we will go first is how to refine our purpose as agriculturalists as we are here today. So first, before you engage on agriculture, most importantly, you always like to ask yourself some question. Who am I? What am I going to be producing? Where will I be producing? What will I be producing? And for whom am I producing that? When you put all these concepts into your mind, you will not just only be entering into agriculture, but you'll be diving into agriculture now, knowing fully well the exact thing that you are going to do. Is it that you are doing it because of personal preference? Is it because of the love? So when you ask all these questions to yourself, that is when now you are ready now to go in for agriculture. Because if we are looking now, there are a lot of people who are out there, from what I've been seeing in the group, people we are posting garden egg, the other one was cayenne pepper. Well, there are some that we even post carrot, then we could even see that agriculture is very vast. But today we only focus more on crop production. There's still the other aspect of animal production, for which I believe that in the long run, we'll be going deeper into animal production. So apart from refining our purpose, I would like to just give brief and then talk a little bit about some types of agriculture. So the first one I would like to talk about is about subsistence agriculture. Now, when we talk about subsistence, from the definition that I gave already, we will know that subsistence agriculture is just the practice of agriculture for personal or family consumption. That is just the practice for personal or family consumption which focuses more on staple food. Like the case here, we are in Cameroon. I'm from the Western Highland, precisely in Bamenda. We mostly cultivate crops like maize, which is our staple food for fufu consumption. So you see that most of us just prepare, most of us just worked just only to have our end means to have what to eat. Yeah, that's when you are talking about subsistence agriculture. You are referring to just the practice just only for personal and family consumption. You are not thinking about the market. You are not even thinking about or any other thing. But sometimes when the surpluses are made, just only to cash on with some ends and means, at least you have to go to the market. And this type of agriculture is mostly the traditional method of farming use. We use crude tools like hoes, machete for farm preparation and all those kind of stuff like that. It's just like a house thing, something. So apart from that, you will see now a lot of people can as well engage into commercial agriculture. That's another type of agriculture. Situations through which people are only growing crops and rearing animals only to sell. And most of them, they just focus on cash crops. Yeah, they just focus on cash crops because that gives them money. Their own mindset of what they want to do, like refining their purpose, is for the market. And most of those kind of crops are just like coffee, sugarcane, cocoa. Yes, because they have to produce in large scale because their main aim is just about the market. And the farming techniques or the model through which they carry on these activities is via technology. They need to use machines. They used to use combined harvesters, like most of the things that we usually view online. They see machines are the one tilling, machines are the one planting, others type of things like that. And then one of the type of agriculture I would like to discuss that I may lay more emphasis on is about organic agriculture. All right, I believe SCAAD is doing a lot empowerment in order to enrich believers on how to protect, preserve, and conserve their soils. That's what about they are talking about sustainable development. But if we are talking about organic farming or organic agriculture, we'll be looking now through ways. That's one aspect of subsistence agriculture, because organic agriculture, the market is still green, but a lot of people now have been doing that, and that is just properly for local consumption. People always do that only to consume because they cannot consume at a large scale, but the market is already green. And looking at organic agriculture, we will be looking at ways through which we can avoid synthetic fertilizers and pesticides completely. We don't even want that. And that's why most of organic agriculture, it focuses much on natural methods to control pests, diseases, thus improve soil health, biodiversity, and ecosystem services. So if you are engaging on organic agriculture, then you are somebody who has already mastered, you know exactly where you're going to. It is not just only about you. It is about the tomorrow. You are trying to protect the health of the soil. You are trying to fight against climate change. You are trying to fight against soil erosion, soil depletion, and then all those environmental hazards that have to do with the depletion of our soil. So that is organic farming. Most of which is even done by the elderly. I really love when most of the time when I'm going to the field, I really see them doing that. And, I also get experience for them because they have already been in the field more than for a long time. And equally, most of us are in town, and agriculture in town is different now. And we have to go more intensive because there is limited space, there is the demand for the market, and then the product, everybody needs it. So at this moment, I will be talking about intensive agriculture. That's a farming practice that maximizes production, always per unit area. You just take the little space that is there and you try everything possible that what comes out from that area is in such a way that you can make money. Their mindset is too about money. Is relating with the commercial. It's done with irrigation and high use of fertilizers, pesticides as well used. And most of these intensive agricultural practices, they are very much dangerous because they help on soil degradation. Because the more they are using chemical fertilizers, the more they are trying to clear up, they release the soil. The soil becomes so open. Like the case of the dry season now, it easily leads to soil erosion, wind erosion, taking most of the uppermost fertile part of the soil away. It leads to a lot of environmental pollution. This is the kind of farming that is good because It's fighting against food security, but it's very bad because a lot of people consume, especially for those that are eating things like salad. Salad is something that we eat when it is still fresh. It is very dangerous because when you consume that without being cooked, the chemical food residue from those things like that, when it comes out into your system, you become to start having problems, complications in the hospital, you start spending money. But whereas if you could have gone organic, at least you are saving the environment, you are saving yourself, and you are still as well food secure. All right, we'll go to extensive agriculture. Yeah, that one is just normal. They just need but like surfaces of land, which usually goes like with livestock grazing, other stuff of things like that. And it also as well those type of land degradation because yeah, they just need the land. Yes, and then urban agriculture, green crops in urban area environments like community gardens to increase food access. But another aspect or another type of agriculture that has really come now, it is really gaining ground. Remember the last time I was doing training in Nigeria, they were talking about hydroponics. Yeah, hydroponics now is agriculture which is soilless cultivation, method that are just used with natural rich water rather than soil to increase crop production. That means they just use the water to produce crops. It maximizes land use as well as reduce water usage. I was going on with a training on how to produce azolla, which is used for livestock farming. That's mostly is very rich grass. It's just like a moist grass, but it grows only in water. These are the type of agriculture they are talking about. You can just have a broken bucket. You can just conserve water within a small space area, and then you just need to have the seed, and then that is all. You can produce anything but in water. But the water must be naturally rich in its nutrients so that it can easily help you in the production process. So hydroponics, a lot of people, you can see as well do research because whatever thing that we are discussing here, at least you have to just jot it down at the end of the day. At least you do further research and then you can ask further questions so that at least we could help ourselves and grow. All right, another type of agriculture is about agroforestry. This is part of my field. I love it. Yes, I love agroforestry. That is the system in which people now are trying now to integrate trees into farming system. That is intentionally. Yes, you are working your crops, you are looking at the nature in which climate change is affecting us. And then from there, you are seeing that your soil is being eroded. You need a lot of things in order to maintain the fertility, the health of that soil. What do you need to do? You need to bring in trees into your farm. Most of those trees are not for anything. The trees are just there to help. Some of the trees help in nitrogen fixation, giving it the fertility of the soil. Some of the trees are just there to only help as cover crops. Some of the trees are just even there to help as wind barriers. Some of the trees are just there to produce the food. So agroforestry is very good. It helps to promote ecological interactions. This type improves health, especially soil health, and reduces erosion. So this is one of the aspects of agriculture that I really love so much about. Then we have aquaculture. Yeah, that's raising of fish or other aquatic animals for food. This is another business of agriculture. I can't remember that there are a lot of Nigerians here, mostly in the coast of Southwest region, that are very much engaged on aquaculture. Yeah, their main activity is just only fish, yes, getting into the water, bringing fish and all those kind of that. It's a good source of protein and promotes ecosystem services as well. So a lot of people might still like to go into that aspect of like, okay, since I cannot work agriculture, or maybe I'm old, or I cannot handle a whole, or I don't have any technician or to be following up, especially with these diseases and pests. Let me just go in for fish farming. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's good. And then most importantly, regenerative agriculture. Now, I really much believe that SCAAD usually would like to lay more emphasis on this and they love this other aspect. Regenerative agriculture, in this aspect now, will only be focusing on improving soil health. Without soils, we are nothing. Without soils, we are nothing. We depend on the soil. And if you are doing agriculture that will help to improve the soil health, then you are doing the best. You are very great. It is not only improving soil health, but as well helping in biodiversity and ecosystem services. ensure that at least the animals, some kind of species that are going on extinction are well preserved. They are well preserved. It reduces tilling of the soil. This kind of soil is just like, most of the time you just go into the soil, you just clear, you leave the grass, leave it for some time for bacteria to act during chemical composition. And then you see things like earthworms, they just come and feed on the grass, and then it helps in, that's the health of the soil. But we are doing our best to avoid chemicals, especially when we are talking about regenerative agriculture. And most of the people will always like to interact regenerative agriculture with livestock. So it depends. A lot of people will like to be asking more about questions on this. Yeah, at the end of the session, there will be room for questions, or some other people might still as well in the comment section be asking their own questions, so that at the end of the day, I will copy them, and then I will give room to be answering them. So apart from that, now we'll be dipping deeper into basic farming concepts. Basic farming concepts. I hope people are jotting, because at the end of the day, though I will still try to share my slides that I'm using, so that at least everybody should follow up, and then it might help you too in the long run. So talking about basic farming concepts, we'll be looking at soil and land preparation. As a farmer or somebody who wants to engage into agriculture, and most especially when you are about to start, it is very good for you to understand the different type of soils. There are 4 types of soil. We have the clay, we have the soil, we have the sand, we have the loam, and then you need to know more about their characteristics. You cannot do farming without knowing all this. It is very, very, very vital. You have to analyze your soil pH, nutrient level, to determine fertilizer need. Yeah, for those that want to engage more into business. And then for land preparation, now you need to know more about what are you going to do. Am I going to clear, burn, use Ankara, which are the systems that we don't really encourage, because those are not best agricultural practices. So usually most of the time just encourage clearing, tilling, and then planting, and use just biological ways in order to control my pests. So when you are starting your farm, you need to know more about the soil type, whether it is which type, the characteristics, how it behaves, so that you should know the kind of crops you want to plant. Because there are some crops that are just short-term crops, like 3 months, things like just spices, things like carrot, onions, all those kind of things like that. You need to know their kind of soil. You need to know a lot of things, their characteristics, how the soil behaves. When sun is shining, do the soil becomes hardened? And if you are planting something now, how will you have it? So when you put all this into mind, entering now into agriculture, it will really help you a lot. And then secondly, we'll be looking at crop selection and planning. This is almost a season of cultivation, where everybody within the tropics now are doing everything, waiting for the rains. And it will not be surprising that even people who are already engaged into agriculture for some time now, they don't even know when they can start preparing, when to start clearing their soil, when to start tilling their soil, or either if they are already having their seeds with them. Some other people, they just sit and then you are just passing there. Where are you going to? Oh, I just want to reach the farm. Don't you know that today is already farming season? And then somebody will say, hey, you just run into their house and then just bring a machete and then go to the farm, clear, and then you just plant. Have you really checked about the crops that you want to plant? What about the quality nature of the crops you want to plant? So at this very time, we'll be looking at just choosing crops suitable for local climate. The climate in Nigeria is quite different from the climate in Bermuda in terms of rainfall, in terms of temperature. So whenever you want to choose everything, you look at the suitable local climate where you want to produce. You look at the soil, like we were talking, like I just explained, the type of soils and their characteristics. And then if you wanted to go it for the market, to go look at about the market demand. Don't just get up today in the morning. Yes, garden egg is easy to cultivate, and then you are producing garden egg to take it to the market, which is already a competing crop in the market. You will only be making the losses, but you have to do a feasibility study about the market demand, know what needs in the market that is not even there, and you check their soil type, you check the climatic condition, you combine all this together, and then you go in for the crop. And then you have to also as well encourage crop rotation. You have to rotate your crops to maintain soil fertility. This will as well help to reduce pest diseases to promote biodiversity. Sometimes when you have to plant, it is always very good that there are some crops that takes in a lot of nutrients from the soil. There are some plants that really needs but manure, all those kind of things like that. When you put that into practice, you see that if you have to work something like, let's take for instance, like onions, mostly tubers, we need manure. At the end of the day, you still have to come and plant the very same onions. And then it is very good that after the planting session for around 2 to 3 to 4 times, you have to change and bring something different. Yes, when you bring something different, you have changed now the format, and we have to reduce the pests and the diseases, because some of the things that we plant in the farm are resistant to these diseases, and then they help now to promote biodiversity. And before you can do all this, you need to plan. As a farmer, you need to plan your planting dates based on your weather conditions, your soil temperature, and then the crop maturity. If you are in a situation now, talking about the weather, yes, you want to go and plant corn. Now rain is not falling, and you want to go and plant corn. What will happen with the corn? The corn will really obviously get bad in the farm. What about the soil temperature? The soil needs some water, it needs some warmth. When you analyze all this and put it together, and then the type of crop that you want to plant, is it a short-term crop? Will it take me about 2 weeks? Will it take me about 3 weeks? Will it take me about 1 month? Is it cassava that can take me for 10 months? So when you put all that, that is planning. You can never do agriculture without planning. So when you plant, it becomes easy. And we all know that most of the crops that we plant, each and every crop needs water. We need to know how we can manage our water. Is it that the water is through irrigation? That means you have to use sprinklers, drip, or you just have to connect water from a big river into the soil, most especially like what is people usually do now, mostly in the arid areas. So which one do you want to do? Or do you already have the water, like the case here that I work on wetlands, in order to bring in good sustainable agricultural practices? We work on wetlands. And what thing that we do here is just that we try now by all way to minimize water waste through efficient irrigation system and practices. We conserve water. We make sure that the water that is there, we should make good use of that water within the dry season and produce. I will still as well share some of the pictures and some of the informations on how people should see how we worked those were wetlands in the dry season and how we try to conserve water. And then the water is already there. And after a long time, maybe around 1 or 2 months, yeah, the water dries up. Or sometimes rain, just like what happened to us some 2 weeks ago, rain just suddenly fell very heavily. And then how did we manage the water runoff to prevent erosion? But when it falls like that, if we are not expecting, seriously, will cause a lot of damage. So most of these things you have to put in place, and then you have to plan then before you engage into agriculture. I would like to be discussing to one of the most important points that usually affect farmers very well, and that I know, and that is one of the key points that people will be asking me questions, and every day, even on my Facebook page, it's about pest and disease management. Pest and disease.
Thank you, Tata, for the training so far. It's quite interesting and informative. I don't know if we have any questions regarding the training we've had so far. Although there's so much we really want to hear, as in the passion and all that, we want to know more. Well, it seems like time is running out. Before
Okay.
surprisingly, time is, but I don't know if there are questions.
Yeah, I was going to ask a question.
Okay.
Because he's really mentioned a lot of really important things. Tata, what would you advise for those who are not yet ready to go into the large farms, right? And you just want to do something from your home, and you want to start small, but you want to be consistent so that at least you're able to get your little spices and onions. Like if you go to my kitchen, you mentioned hydroponics. In my kitchen, I have this small cup where I've put onion leaves. So when I buy onion leaf from the store, the root, the bottom part, I don't slice it and add. I just put it in the water and it grows back again, the green leaves. So I don't know, is that part of hydroponics? Am I doing it in a small scale? But if I want to do something from like the comfort of my home in my park garden, like find a small space at home, what would you advise? How would you suggest I go about it?
All right. Thank you very much for the question. Okay, it depends around the area where you find yourself and the soil type that you have around there, and then the environmental conditions, if they are favorable for what you want to produce. Sometimes if it is very hard, you can even use like bags. You can even use like some broken buckets, but you have to make it in such a way that air can easily penetrate, so that even when you are watering, the water can easily now circulate within. So home gardening is just very easy to do it, but it depends somehow where you buy your seeds or the kind of seeds that you have. Are you the one nursing the seed before planting, or you just go and buy it? So it's just only a normal thing that you just need look at the soil, study the soil, bring in more manure, and then you can plant. And then you have to do observation. You need to be there constantly to be seen. You need to be with the plant. So that's what I can tell you for now, so that you can do. But you need manure, you need good soil, and then you need quality seeds just around the house. But you can use the bag, yeah, just any other things like that. Because it depends now that on you, what are you going to be planting, and for what purpose are you going to be doing that? So that's what I can tell you for now.
Okay, and just the second question, what would be like if you wanted to advise someone to start farming like on a small scale, maybe from their house, what would you advise to like the best crops to start with?
Yeah, there are a lot of crops. Most especially I always like, because most that are always needed in the house. Somebody can just start with things like parsley, basil, celery, salad, carrot, cabbage, garden egg. So most of those things are very, very nice to just make it within the house. Even you, I don't know whether you people have huckleberry around there. There are some of these vegetables that we usually eat here. It's also good. You can see as we're going with bitter leaf. You can see as we're going. There's one South African vegetable, we call it chaya. It's just you can just put it at the boundary, just only to demarcate in case if you have animals or like fowls that can easily come and disturb you. So most of those things you might even go in for. So I don't know if people have access to all of those things there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jude. I don't know if others have questions as well. Tata, I think you'll be at the point of rounding up. I think we are almost done. I know you have so much to give, and actually we want so much, but I guess while we are waiting for others to join us, the time caught up with us. But I know we'll be trying to schedule another time again so that you can come and give us details of all this. So I think you'll be summarizing. Okay, somebody's raising their hand.
Okay.
Geoffrey.
Is Geoffrey? Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I have a question to ask. First of all, thank you for such a wonderful teaching. I learned so much. But then, you know, someone asks what kind of crops or venture you would love to one would start with if you're just farming on around your houses. Well, I think for me, it's what some of the things I needed around the house or in my home. But I want to ask a question because around here we don't really have like big lands to plant, especially with in the city here, and we deal with mostly what they call these bags, soil bags and containers with pour sand.
Oh, okay.
But then I want to ask, is there something one must do to have a better yield with such pattern of planting as to compare to when you have a proper land? Is there something you have? Because I've noticed that I've compared most of the things I've had before, in a bag, and the one that was planted in a proper land. There are differences to it. So is there something one must do to have a better yield as to compare to when you sow in a proper land than in a sack? I don't know whether you understand the question.
Yeah, I'm getting you.
Okay, that's it.
All right. Like we were talking about, as you want to engage into agriculture, most importantly, you have to look at the soil type. And you know that the soil type that usually is in the land is different, because normally that one is already naturally there, but rather than the one that you have just carried and put in the bag. There are some like green pepper. When you work it in bags, yeah, it usually does very well. There is tomatoes. When you work in bags, it usually does very well. Carrots, and then garden egg and some of those things like that. But I don't know if what we are trying to plant, were you able to manage the pests, or were you able to assess the disease management of the things that you are trying to do? Because to work this intensive agriculture, that's more of about intensive agriculture or urban agriculture, is very, it needs a lot of time. You need a lot of follow-up. So most of the time, first you look at the soil, and then the manure application. Which one are you using, and how often do you use it, and what quantity are you using? When you have studied the soil too, and then with the pH of the soil. So when you combine all this together, depending on what you want to plant, it will really help you a lot. It will really help you a lot. But you cannot expect the yields from that to be compared with the one that you have just planted it in an open land, because the climate wisely are very different. So I don't know, what exactly were you planting? So Mr. Jeffrey?
It was actually yam. But it was actually yam. And it's the same seed, with the ones that we planted in the bag and the one we planted in the actual land, but the yield was not that good with the one in the sack. So
Okay, was the soil really loose? Because yam is a tuber, and then it needs a loose type of soil that in such a way that it can easily, when it is going to penetrate. Or was the soil really strong? Because, and then when you put the soil inside the bag, did you really to make it air free in such a way that you just put some pores inside, through which when you are watering or when water is coming in, it can easily breathe? Did you put that into consideration?
Actually, it was the same soil that we put from the actual land, the other yam seedlings were planted. But then maybe I think I heard someone say that the depth wasn't that good or something like that.
I think that's like what Tata is explaining to you. Even though you picked the same soil, maybe the looseness, the looseness for the soil on the ground, it will be different from what you have done. Probably you stacked your own so much together. So there are so many things you might have done wrong that influenced the yield from what he's saying. Tata, if I get you right, yeah.
Yeah, that's true, madam.
All right. Maybe we'll try again.
You have to be, yes, like he mentioned, you have to make it loose and so many other things. It has to be different since it is out of the main soil. So
that's all right.
I think our time is almost going off. It's supposed to be done by 1. So if you could summarize. Thank you so much for the opportunity. So if you could summarize, if you have anything to add, or I should just summarize.
All right, I would just love maybe within latest, I would see what to do so that I can share some of the slides in the group for everybody just to go on with.
Yes, and we also recorded the session as well, so that others too can maybe go through and hear what you have to say. We are really grateful for the opportunity. We are grateful for the richness of the conversation. We are grateful that you were able to touch everything, and you were able to answer our questions as well. As in, agriculture is quite broad from what you have explained. And one thing for me I picked was that we have to be intentional. We have to have purpose. The essence is, before it's just, I want to I want to go into agriculture. Let's pick a shovel, let's plant. But there has to be a purpose. Am I doing it for organic or commercial or subsistence? I have to ask questions, ask the right one, and then it will help guide what I want to do. So I believe everybody was able to pick one or two things, and we are grateful to have you. I know that this is not the last of we'll hear from you. Of course, we'll We'll also organize more sessions. Many people were not able to join. It's Monday and a busy day, and I believe a lot of people are at work trying to sort out other issues, their work schedules. We hope that we're able to get a better time that would favor everybody and everybody's able to benefit. But we are really appreciative of the time and the resource we were able to do this. And for us, we are proud to be associated with you, having 10 years experience in such system, and the passion too. We can feel it and we can actually taste it, and we are glad to have you. Thank you so much, Tata, for this rich information you have shared with us about agriculture. For everybody who has been here, we are grateful for joining us and also sharing your views. You're also sharing your challenges. We intend to bring in more resource people like Jude, who would be able to help dissect some of these issues that are actually troubling us in the agricultural sector. And thank you, everyone. I know our time is almost up, but we have some few minutes for anybody to say anything. It's only introduction. I heard Fafa say something. Can you, I don't know if I got your name properly, but it would be nice to hear from you as well. Okay, Usman, we'll be sending the summary. Okay, yes, Fafa, you can speak.
Hello, once again. My name is Hadiza.
You said Hadiza? Sorry? Oh, I didn't get your name. Guess the network is bad as well. But Mubarak, I saw your message. Yes, we'll be sending the recorded video to the group as well. And I am Jude is also with us on the platform. In case anyone has questions or have some things they need him to clarify, but he's still with us also, and we hope to schedule other meetings when whenever he gives us a schedule. You know, he's an international resource person, so a lot of people will be reaching out to him. So he has to check his schedule, and then whenever we are able to finalize, we can also schedule another training. So thank you, everyone. And let's enjoy the rest of the day as well. Thank you, Tata, once again. We appreciate you. Oh, Farida. Yeah, it's nice hearing from you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Even though I was not able to join the meeting to attend to the meeting fully, but then with the little that I have had, the training is a very good one, and I believe for those that have started training all till the end of it, we'll be able to learn so many things, and I pray that we can be able to put whatever we learn into our practice. Thank you very much for giving your time to join this training. And for the facilitators too, kudos to all of you guys.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Rachel, for co-hosting with me. So this is goodbye till another meeting again, another training. Thanks, everyone. Yes.